1045 The Team, 1045theteam.com. On the phone, Hudson Belinsky, our friend over at Baseball America, was in town yesterday to see Ian Anderson from Shenendehowa pitch, a guy, Hudson, who you've projected to be the number 10 pick in the draft in your last mock draft that I saw had him pegged going to the White Sox. He didn't actually pitch yesterday, though. What happened?
So he started warming up in the bullpen. He looked loose. He was it was a little crispy, the weather. I mean, it was I don't know, up low 50s. But he was warming up, and then the next thing you know, he's grabbing his side, and he tried to throw one more pitch, and he felt a little tightness in his side, and decided, I guess, to shut it down and not risk anything before further evaluation. So it was a little disappointing, but it seems more precautionary than anything else. It does not seem like a serious injury that's going to sideline him for a long time or anything like that. So at this stage with a 17, 18-year-old kid like that, you're glad that they don't overextend themselves and cause further damage. So you're thinking long term right now.
Is this anything that could impact his draftability down the line? Obviously, you think he's going to be okay. We haven't heard anything catastrophic in relation to this injury, but does any red flag come up in the draft process where it says, well, we're not so sure about how his side is now? Does that play any role?
I mean, teams will inquire about the medical report as the draft gets closer, and teams will make their own decision on, teams have certain philosophies medically. So, some teams might be scared away. Some teams it might not matter at all. But whenever you're looking at a high school right-handed pitcher, that demographic already comes with so much injury risk to begin with that, it would seem that, just something like if it's an oblique or, a lat muscle or something like that, it would not seem to be a major deterrent, provided he comes back healthy. And, this does not turn into something long-term. So, but, with how good he's been in scrimmages, he's pitched really well, according to my sources, and shown really good stuff. It's kind of the stuff scouts are looking for, with a better fastball velocity, and his breaking ball is a little bit more consistent, and he's got a pretty nasty changeup. And so, there aren't a whole lot of guys in this country right now who can do that. I think that overall his draft stock between the start of the first of the year and now is certainly up still. But we'll see how this kind of unfolds and what the diagnosis ultimately ends up being.
Now, you had him pegged number 10 to the White Sox. What makes him a good fit to be a top 10 pick? What makes him a good pick for the White Sox specifically?
So basically, as we put together a mock draft like that, we kind of think of, what have we heard from higher ups, executives, scouting directors, cross checkers, and then what do we know about each team's general philosophy, kind of what they value, what kind of demographic they've gone after in the draft previously, and sometimes there's a slam dunk pick. There's a team that really likes guys with good changeups, and there's a guy, a college performer who has a good changeup available. So those are the easy ones to do. Sometimes you just go with the best available player because, how could a team turn up or turn away from the best available talent at that point is at least the thinking when putting a mock draft together. So the way he ended up with the White Sox is, we put it together, and he was the best available player we had in our rankings at that point. So I kind of just slotted him into the White Sox. But everything I'm hearing in the past few weeks, it sounds like he might not last that long. He might be picked even higher than that. So,
wow.
That's kind of the risk of doing a mock draft that early because so many things can change. But yeah, it sounds like Anderson is really moving up.
Hudson, we'll get you out of here on this. His brother Ben, his twin brother Ben, he's a guy who around this area is certainly not forgotten about and pushed off to the side. He's going to Binghamton, and I think you got your first taste of him, and now the national scene will as well. He's going to Binghamton. He sits like 87 miles an hour on the mound, too. Is he a guy who could be projectable, a draft pick 3 years down the line or so once he gets through Binghamton?
Yeah, I mean, he does not have as much experience pitching as Ian does, and so he's a little bit more raw. But he's got arm strength. He's loose. He's 6'3", 6'4". In that kind of neighborhood. He's got a wiry body, just like Ian. So you can certainly look at this guy and say, if he commits himself to pitching, there's something there. He showed a pretty quality changeup at times yesterday. He was sitting 84 to 87 on the gun. When he was on, he was throwing strikes and pounding the corners, and I think it kind of took him a little while to settle in. But scouts were disappointed. There were a lot of scouts in there to see Ian Anderson. Scouts were disappointed they didn't see Ian Anderson, but kind of glad they got to see the other Anderson. Got to at least check in on that and see what that was all about. But I thought it was a great opportunity for Ben Anderson, and I think he certainly has plenty of potential and could be a really good college pitcher at Binghamton.
Hudson Belinsky, Baseball America. Hudson, glad your trip here wasn't a waste of the Capital Region. We hope you come up again here to check out Ian. We'll have to catch up with you when you do.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.